Hey guys, Ravens here. Today I'm going to showcase Control Bloodcraft. This deck is based heavily on the deck that Dino T brought and beat me with to the Shadowverse Challenge Tournament this past weekend. It's Control Bloodcraft. Um, I like it. I think it's very strong. Dealing with other control decks, also dealing with aggro decks. You have so much life gain. You have some wards. You draw a lot of cards. You have a lot of board wipes and removal. Um, so let's go through the deck. Gotta have 3 Unicas, strongest 2-drop for control. Interesting card that he would put in there is Vampiric Kiss. I do think this is very strong. 2 damage deal, kills most things in the early game while healing you, so against really aggressive decks this is great. Blood Pact, it's sort of like running 5 Dire Bonds. Dire Bond draws you 3 cards and you don't actually take damage over 3 turns. But Blood Pact, only costs 2 mana and can be played more safely. 3 Healing Angels. Again, early game that heals you is great. The card you do really want to be playing on 3 is Dire Bond because you have so much healing. You usually won't die before turn 6. 7, I guess, when you get the final heal. 2 Wardrobe Raiders, 2 Righteous Devils, strong 4-drop evolves. Righteous Devils really only strong if you have Vengeance active, but Dire Bond on 3 can really help with that. 3 Goblin Mount Demons, the strongest ward in the game for the mana. 2 Call of Cocytus. You need some direct removal, and this in particular is great because it gives you a 5 mana 13/13, because this deck's win condition is basically stalling out. But in some cases you can't stall literally forever. And paying 3 extra mana to draw a Servant of Darkness is very strong, because you can win with 1 swing from that card. 3 Diabolic Drains, more healing and removal. Just a strong card, especially when you get it off for 1. 2 Queen Vampires. I only have 2. He runs 3. In its place for the 3rd one, I run a Blood Hungry Matriarch. I think this is a really underrated card. I like it actually instead of the 3rd Queen Vampire, because a lot of situations where you want to play Queen Vampire, you would actually want to just play Blood Hungry Matriarch, because usually it means they have a board full of weenies. And here you get to kill them instead of ward in front of them. The damage usually doesn't matter from it. That's kind of just a bonus, but sometimes it's useful. And here's another change, just cards that I don't have. He runs 3 Odins. That's mostly to help this deck beat, in the tournament, really, Seraph Haven. To a lesser extent, in the tournament, more on the ladder, would be to beat Shadow, because Odining a Mordecai is just great value. I only have 1 Odin. I crafted it actually to mess around with some tournament decks. I don't really feel like crafting 2 more at this time, so I replaced the other 2 with Lucifer and Olivia. Olivia is great for the late game, less so with this deck, but it helps. And I went with Lucifer just for even more healing. But in his version, like I said, those 2 cards would be replaced with 2 more Odins. If I was going to drop one of them for a second Odin, um, it might actually be Olivia that I would drop, although I'm not actually sure. I could see maybe dropping 1 for an Odin and 1 for another Matriarch. Um, but, I'm still messing around with this deck. 3 Revelations, standard, and any mid-range or control blood. 2 Temptress Vampires. Um, Not a big fan of this card, but the heal for 5 is just insane. Um, being able to even target face, if you have a Bahamut out there and he's at 18, this is lethal damage. Um, but yeah, mostly played for the heal for 5. And being able to take something out on the board is phenomenal. And then the King. And I even have a foil one. I did open all 3 Bahamuts, so I'm very happy about that. The key against control is to Bahamut their Bahamut. If you're the first one to Bahamut and you don't have 2 in your hand, you can be in trouble. You have Call of Cocytus, and in this version only 1 Odin. So you do have some other options to deal with an opposing Bahamut that isn't Bahamut, but you would always prefer to be playing your Bahamut into his, and then you start the Bahamut wars of who has more in their hand. My list in particular, weak against Seraph Haven because of the 1 Odin. I think you really could get away with running 2 Odins, but only running 1 like I am is almost certainly detrimental to the deck. And like I said, I really think that 2 blood-hungry matriarchs should be in this deck just because it is so strong. We're going to keep Direbond here just for the card draw. Going second, I prefer to have a Vampiric Kiss against Daria, but that's okay. We do have Wardrobe Raider on 4, so we can Direbond on 3 and then Wardrobe Raider to clear out some of his board. If this is D-Shift, then we're also fucked. There are so few D-Shifts on ladder, though, that not too concerned. And if he's playing a Witch Enemy Lu there, then I seriously doubt he's D-Shift. So one of the things with Direbond is you have to watch your hand. So we have 6 cards. We're going to draw 2. We'll be at 8. We'll play Wardrobe Raider on 4. Then we'll be at 7. We'll draw 2. We'll be at 9. So we're going to need to play 2 cards on turn 5, or we're going to overdraw. Yeah, at some point we're going to have to play 2 cards, or we're going to overdraw. So, don't really want to play a Wardrobe Raider here, so we're just going to go ahead and Healing Angel, just because there's not a big incentive to use Wardrobe Raider Evolve just to get a Vampiric Kiss and a 4/5. Levi here is fine. He'll probably keep the Crimson Sorcery. Sorry, my tablet's not doing very well, so everything's very slow. So we are going to end up overdrawing because we can't play 2 cards here, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, we just can't play 2 cards. So we are going to Wardrobe Raider over Goblin Mount Demon. Just because I don't see why not. I'd rather take out two things rather than one. You know, he could have Dance of Death. He could have a few other things. So since we end up milling, and that is one of the things about Dire Bond on 3 when you're going second, is that extra card that you draw, you actually end up just burning it a lot of times because you will draw too many cards. But such is life. So he go ahead, he clears the board. Able to drop the Ogler. Well, at least we didn't burn Revelation, but we do burn. Okay, Unica's fine. Would have been nice to drop Wardrobe Raider and Unica. The thing about Queen Vampire Evolve is we know he has a Crimson Sorcery in hand. And we also know... Well, we have Wardrobe Raider, so we sort of want to use that on the Evolve. But we also kind of want to set up for Bloodhungry Matriarch next turn. I'm going to go ahead and Queen Vampire here anyway. And I guess we'll evolve over the Ogler. So, I mean, we know he has the Crimson Sorcery, but getting him to use it on a minion rather than on our face is good for us. So he does manage to have the Angelic Barrage and another Levi, which, yeah, I'm guessing he's going to evolve and then use one of the two Crimson Sorceries on the 6/2. Wow, he's going to keep him for face. Okay, so he has 6 damage in hand. So in that case, our main goal is to make it till turn 9, where we'll heal for 5. I think in that case we want to... Well, we sort of just need to make it till Lucifer next turn, because we'll heal. So in that case, we want a Goblin Mount Demon and evolve to take care of this, the 2/2. Because even Dance of Death, Piercing Rune, and double Crimson Sorcery doesn't kill us. That would leave us at 1. Oh, see, if he has to Crimson Sorcery the ward, then he's totally fucked. So we would have liked to keep... So he must have just counted wrong there. Oh, he just wanted to play Daria. Yeah, this looks really bad for him. So, Lucifer would be just too bold. We're just going to Revelation and Wardrobe Raider. Because next turn we can either Diabolic Drain Lucifer, Bloodhungry Matriarch, Diabolic Drain, or Temptress Vampire. So he did manage to draw into a second Daria. Unless he has the 2/2 Storm, that was bad. He does. And this is where you see the power of Bloodhungry Matriarch. Because we're able to Diabolic Drain Daria and then Matriarch to take out the whole board. Temptress Vampire would be more of an option if we had 10 mana. But yeah, I think this is by far the best play. And you see here why I like running a Matriarch over a third Queen Vampire. Because otherwise I'd have to Revelation. I mean, Bloodhungry Matriarch just cleared his board and dealt him 5 damage. This is why you don't run Wind Blasts in Daria. I mean, he's almost out of cards. Yeah, he has 6 cards left. So the question is whether Queen Vampire or Lucifer is better. More likely than not, he's going to have to try to kill us. I think the wards are better later. Yeah, he might have Dance of Death here, but I just need the 4 health. You know, because I can Revelation and Queen Vampire in the same turn as long as Vengeance is active, so... We also have heals for 10 if we want it, so... I mean, he has to have a Dance of Death here. Yeah, I think we just heal right out of range. I mean, we could Queen Vampire, Vampiric Kiss. I think it really limits our options. Sorry, Temptress Vamp, yeah. We'll just take this out, because again, he has so few cards left. It's all about just surviving for us. Ironically there, Bloodhungry Matriarch would have again been better than Queen Vampire. You know, Queen Vampire, it's like... It's not only is it susceptible to Angelic Barrage, as you saw with the first one, but... you know, just Bloodhungry Matriarch dealing 2 damage to their entire board is just so strong, and dropping a body, and dealing damage to their face. Like, but against decks like Dragon and Sword, having the wards can be invaluable. So I think it's kind of a balance. I mean, if you wanted to, you could definitely drop, like, you know, basically one of the Odin slots for it. You know, that's up to you. It depends on how many flood decks you face. So that's a look into the Control Blood archetype, and I think the best way to run it. I really think this is superior to the Bloody Mary version of this deck, because Bloody Mary does really nothing for you unless you're going to kill them with it. And since you're not aggressive at all, why bother killing them with Bloody Mary, which you have to do with like 2 Bloody Marys over like 2 turns, and you have to run stuff like Razor Claw and Blood Wolves when you can just either completely grind them out or kill them with Bahamuts or Servants of Darkness that you get from Call of Cocytus. So yeah, because I played a little bit of the Mary control blood, even though I don't have enough Marys, I always thought that was the problem with it. And this version of the deck is just so much stronger. Bahamut is such a great card for control. Personally, I think it's a little too strong, but such is life. I doubt they'll nerf it, but I think it's very strong, and I think it makes this deck much more possible. This play style much more possible. Anyway, I'll be showcasing this some more later. Thanks for watching.